Hi, this is Greg back again for Telltale to talk about my latest in the space opera September reads. I finally finished my first one, the space opera novella, which was Battle for the Stars by Edmond Hamilton, to replace the story by Leigh Brackett that I thought was going to be taking place in space, at least partly, but turned out to be entirely on the planet Mars. So this one, although it does take place somewhat on Earth and other planets, it's mostly about a spaceship that leads the 5th Squadron from Lyra, I think it is, called the Star Song. I see all the time people doing their book hauls, books that they got. I rarely do an actual haul. I get books one at a time, usually through the mail, usually ordered on the internet, and I just received and am opening up. I think I know what this is. Yes, I know what this is. It is Susanna Clarke's latest novel, Piranesi. Bought this from Barnes & Noble. And Barnes & Noble is supposed to have an exclusive edition. It says right on the cover, Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. I don't know what's exclusive about it. Maybe an extra chapter or a forward or something by her. I don't know. But I haven't read her first book, Jonathan Norrell and Mr. Strange, but I did see most of the episodes of the TV series on Netflix, and I was enjoying it, and it did win awards and stuff. So when I heard this was coming out and when I heard what it was about, Piranesi, I thought, I got to try this, since I've been looking for more current science fiction, fantasy, and other books in general to read and learn more about what's going on today instead of always reading the moldy stuff from the past. I thought this would be a great one to get, especially since, if you don't know, Giovanni Battista Piranesi, I believe that's his full name, he was an artist in, I believe, the 1700s, did a lot of etchings of what I think are mainly prisons, but they have a very Gothic feel to them. And so people who love fantasy art have always loved Piranesi's etchings. They're not really weird, but they have a weird feeling to them, a weird vibe to them. So this book is supposed to be a fictionalized thing where somebody actually walks into buildings like this. And I don't know if the character is actually Giovanni Piranesi or if it's somebody else. I gotta read it and find out. I'm very, very curious about this book. I want to read it and want to find out about it. Look for a review in the near future. I don't know if Emily will join me reading it, but I'm going to read it and I'm going to review it. So, back to the issue at hand. Battle for the Stars. Really surprised me. Because in general, I prefer Leigh Brackett over Edmond Hamilton. I've read some works by both authors. Edmond Hamilton never wrote anything quite as interesting as The Big Jump or The Long Tomorrow. You know, he's mostly known. He got his start in the 1930s writing very early pulp space opera. He became known as World Wrecker Hamilton because he was always blowing up worlds in his science fiction stories. He started writing for Amazing Stories and wrote for Astounding Stories and all of those very early science fiction magazines in the 1930s. And in the 1940s, he got into a thing called Captain Future. It was kind of like Doc Savage, if you know what Doc Savage was, or The Shadow, where it was a monthly magazine devoted to this character. And he wrote I believe he wrote all of the Captain Future stories through the 1940s. So he became one of the leading writers of space opera, and stuck pretty much to that. I mean, his writing got better as time went on, but he did stick pretty close to the space opera, science fiction, adventure types of stories, rather than writing the John Campbell astounding type of stories, or jumping on the bandwagon with the soft science fiction of the 1950s or the new wave in the 1960s. He stuck close to his roots. He just honed his writing craft over time, and this was published in 1961. And it's an unusual book in that it was not first serialized in any of the science fiction magazines. Back then, most of your science fiction books, before they saw publication either in hardcover or paperback, would be published in the magazines. A novel would get serialized in usually 3-4 parts. Some magazines advertised that they had a complete novel in every issue, and so something like this would show up and be in just one issue. But this one, no, was not sold to the magazines. Probably because by 1961, the market for Hamilton's type of space opera in the magazine market had pretty much dried up. The primary magazines at that time were Analog, which is still going today, Galaxy, and the magazine is Fantasy and Science Fiction, which is also still going today, which I still subscribe to. A great magazine, a lot of great award-winning fiction came out of that. But these magazines were not really focused on traditional Hamilton-style space opera. The basic story, you have mankind gone out and colonized a good portion of the galaxy. But because of the distances involved, you have 5 sectors, each controlled by a different governor. And then you have Earth. So the story, the Star Song is the leader of the 5th Fleet, Regiment, whatever you want to call it, from Lyra, the Vegan territory, I believe. And they are very much at odds with the people of the Orion territory. And they catch wind of a plan for Orion to take over Earth. Earth is celebrating like a 100 years of space travel or something like that. And they're inviting everybody to come and be in a spaceship parade and stuff like that. And so the Orion sector hatches the plan to try to take over Earth. At that ceremony, they're going to send three whole squadrons to Earth. And Earth doesn't really have a very good space fleet anymore. Earth is kind of fallen behind everybody else, and they've let their space fleet kind of fall by the wayside. They don't have the huge military buildup of the other sectors. So they're sitting ducks, basically. So the captain of the Star Song is sent to Earth to block the Orionids and save the Earth. That's the setup of the story. That's as far as I'll go. I don't like spoilers. I don't want to ruin it for you. I think you should read this one. The Nemesis from Terra, I can't recommend, really. I felt it was pretty weak. I think it's one of the weakest stories that Brackett has written. But Battle for the Stars, I loved it. It was good. It was really good. As a whole, the book, I'm giving only 3 stars on Goodreads because it's both books. I can't call this a 4-star book when I don't really think The Nemesis from Terra is anything that people today are really going to like that much. But Battle for the Stars, it's good. It is good. The main character is well fleshed out. The story is well thought through. The situation is, it's a political situation. It's well built. The story is well told. You care about the character. You care about what's going on. You care about Earth. So I think it's one that people today would actually enjoy reading. So long as you understand that, yes, it was written and published in 1961. It's not today's science fiction. If you can go into it with that knowledge, it's an enjoyable space opera. If you like Star Wars, this is good. This is where Star Wars comes from. It's people like Edmond Hamilton, stories like Battle for the Stars. This is the stuff that led to Star Wars. So it's not Star Wars. It's different, but it is very good. It's science fiction adventure at its best, and definitely a stronger book. I'm glad I read it. I don't like that I'm so far behind on Space Opera September. I'm currently hoping I can at least get, now that I'm done with this, that I can at least get through A Memory Called Empire before the end of the month. I'm hoping maybe I can still squeak Skylark of Space in there, but I think I'm resigned to the probability that that's not going to happen. So I recommend this side of this tour double. If you can find this, I don't think it's been published since this book was published in 1989. So dig through your used bookstores, check out Amazon and other used book sources online if you really want to find it. And it's a short book at 141 pages. It's a light read, it's an easy read, and it's a lot of fun. It really is. It's a lot of fun. It's a good science fiction space opera story. This is what got us all into this stuff. So that's it. That's all I got for today. We'll see you Friday. We have, what's this Friday? We have The Monkey's Paw, a review by Emily Alone. Now, I'm not in this. I haven't read this story. I've never read the story, and so she's on her own with that one, and that's coming up this Friday. I think you'll enjoy it. Tune in Friday night after 6, either our Facebook account or our YouTube account. Otherwise, like this video, subscribe to the video series, follow our channel, share it with your friends, and leave comments. If you've read this, tell me what you think. If you've read something else that you think I would like that would be along this vein, let me know about it. I'd like to hear about it. If you've already read Piranesi, tell us about it. Though I kind of doubt you have, since it just shipped out. You're a pretty darn fast reader, unless you got an advanced reader copy from publishers. But come on back and see us again. Thank you for watching me today. Have a good night.